Here's a more detailed video on making connect the dots illustrations in Illustrator. One of the other members mentioned a couple issues they were having with the silhouette that they started with, so I'm going to go over that so we can prevent that. So I've opened this silhouette that I downloaded from a clipart site. First thing I want to do is isolate the unicorn. Sometimes, even though we can't see them, there could be invisible elements surrounding it. So I'm using the group select tool. I'm just going to select that, copy it, and then we'll paste it on a new layer. So I'm going to turn off that layer, create a new layer, and then we'll do a paste in front so it's in the same place. And then the next thing I want to do is make sure that it's not a compound path. So while it's still selected, we're going to go to Object, Compound Path, and Release. In one of the later steps, we'll be converting all of the anchor points to our dots. So just looking at this, I think there's too many right now, so we're going to use the simplify command to remove some of them. And as you can see, if you can use the slider here, and the more curve precision you have, the more dots we're still going to have. But what I actually want to do instead is use this, let me go back to the default here, is use the straight lines option, because this is more representative of what it'll look like when someone actually does the puzzle. And in this case, we haven't actually reduced any of the, we still have the same number of dots. So I'm just going to bring this up, and as I do that, you'll see there's a lot less detail, but it's probably more representative of what it'll look like. And you can also manually edit this, which I'll do a couple examples of that. So I'm just going to go with that. I can see this looks a little funny here, so I'm going to take out, using the delete anchor point tool, I'm going to take out that extraneous anchor point here. And you could also add anchor points using the add anchor point tool. I don't see anywhere immediately obvious that I'd want to do that. That maybe you'd want to add more detail to the legs. And we can also move around. I'm going to select the direct select tool, and I'm just going to select a couple points here, kind of exaggerate that a little more. Do that here also. And I think down here we might want to, this looks a little detailed. I'll take out a couple of these points here. Let's see how that'll look. Okay, I think we'll do that. And maybe I'll move. I think that looks okay. Do this one up here. All right, hopefully you get the idea from that. So once we're satisfied with the placement of all the anchor points, we're going to go back to select all. And now we want to remove all of the line segments in between the anchor points. So we're going to go to Select, Object, Direction Handles, and I'm going to hit Delete. So now we're just left with the anchor points without all the connecting segments. The next step is we want to convert these anchor points to the dots. So we're going to use that. We're going to use the Convert to Shape ellipse. And I'm going to go with a 4-point. Let's check that. So I'm just going to deselect everything so you can see that we have all our dots now. And I'll go back to Select All. And the next step is to add the numbers, which I found a script that'll do that for us. Just open that, and as you can see, we've got all the dots with the numbers now. And the next step will be to clean up the numbers a little bit. I can see a couple spots that need some fixing. One is right here where the high numbers meet back with the starting numbers again. It looks like there might have been some overlap on a couple dots here. So actually, let me see if I can zoom in. So first I'm going to look at these overlapping numbers here. Looks like we have a 54, 53, 2, a 1, and a 3. And there's more numbers than we have dots, obviously. So what I think I'll do here is I'll just move 1 up here, put 2 over here, 3 here, and we'll get rid of these. And then I'll just look for areas that seem like they might need some repositioning. And you'll also want to keep in mind, I'm kind of doing this quickly right now, but something else you'd want to keep in mind is where the lines are actually going to go, so that if you don't want the lines going through the numbers, you want to move them out of the way, which I'm not really going into that level of detail right now. I'm just kind of giving you the general idea. Anyhow, hopefully this helps, and if you have any questions, please let me know.